In today's world, sharing a photo online,
Yeah.
it feels like it's become as natural as breathing.
Oh, absolutely. It's the default.
Right. A quick snap, a moment you want to remember, just
Yeah.
proof you're out there living, and you post it. Most of us just do it without a second thought.
It's become the visual economy of the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is what I find so fascinating. There's this silent group of people that just opts out.
Mm-hmm.
You see them in your feeds. They're active. They follow people. They consume content, but they offer zero visual proof of themselves.
No selfies, no vacation pictures, nothing.
Nothing. It's like they're virtually invisible in a world that, basically demands visibility to prove you exist.
Yeah, it rewards it constantly.
So why the silence? That's what we're going to get into today. For this deep dive, we looked at the sources you sent us to really understand the psychology behind this, this quiet resistance. What does it say about someone's self-image, their worldview?
Well, I think it's so important to start with the context here. Social media isn't just a platform. It's a psychological conditioning environment.
Okay.
Over the last decade, it has relentlessly taught us that visibility equals validation. And ultimately, it can feel like visibility equals existence itself.
The likes, the comments, all of that.
Precisely. Those are the signals of your worth. A photo becomes the definitive proof that your life is happening, and, more importantly, that other people agree it counts.
So when someone just steps away from that currency.
It's a profound statement. In the research, this is often defined as selective self-presentation. It's not that they just forget to post. It's a deliberate, sometimes even an instinctive resistance to that exposure. It's about control.
Okay, let's unpack this.
It's this deep desire to control what parts of your authentic self you're actually revealing to the digital world.
So it's not just a rejection, it's more like an organized defense.
Yeah.
And the first line of that defense, it seems, is just pure pragmatism, privacy and control.
Exactly. And for these control-oriented individuals, the sources are really clear. They don't see a photo as just an image, a memory.
They see it as what?
They see it as data. And that is a fundamental mental shift that separates them from the casual poster.
Wow, okay, so when you see it as data,
the risks become immediate. That photo has metadata, right? It could have location info. It feeds into facial recognition. It's raw material for an AI to build a profile of you.
and once it's out there,
That's a thing. You permanently surrender control. The image can be copied, it can be judged, it can be totally misinterpreted, and it's online, potentially forever. That loss of control over your own personal asset is, for them, a source of huge discomfort.
that completely flips the script on how most of us think about it. We post in the moment, but these individuals are what the research calls boundary conscious.
Yes.
It's not that they're antisocial, they're just extremely protective of their digital space. It sounds like they're operating with a lot of foresight.
That's the perfect word for it. They're constantly thinking several steps ahead.
They're asking the hard questions like, where will this photo go in 5 years? Who's going to see it? A future employer? An algorithm?
And how will they interpret it? That constant weighing of consequences is how they protect themselves in a world that just pushes for more and more oversharing.
It's like they're their own digital asset manager.
Exactly. They just hate the idea of that image wandering off unsupervised, telling a story they didn't write or approve of. And that practical motivation protecting their future self is a huge driver.
Okay, so we've got the practical side, the need for control. But the sources suggest it's deeper than just safety. It's also about integrity. Which brings us to the second reason, this need for authenticity.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. This is where the psychological performance anxiety comes in.
Performance anxiety.
Well, think about it. Social media basically turns life into a performance.
Yeah.
You pick the best lighting, the right filter, the perfect angle. You craft a witty caption.
Everything is curated.
It's all designed to polish reality. And for someone who is highly self-aware, that entire process can feel, well, just dishonest.
So it creates an internal conflict.
A huge one. And it often comes down to this one question. If people only like the polished, filtered version of me, do they actually like me? Or do they just like the avatar I built?
That's a heavy question. It really moves the conversation from, I need to control my data, to, I need to preserve my true self.
It does. And you see a real clash in values here. These individuals, they seem to prioritize real deep connection with a handful of people over, superficial approval from hundreds of strangers.
That digital applause just doesn't mean as much.
It's often seen as a distraction from what's genuine,
Yeah.
and you see it in their behavior. They might be incredibly active in private chats or small groups, so they're not antisocial.
They're just anti-performance.
Exactly. They're saying, I'll share my real life with people who already know me, but I'm not going to perform for a crowd that only wants to see the highlight reel.
So instead of seeing it as them rejecting other people, the sources frame it as kind of a deep loyalty to themselves.
That's a great way to put it.
They're protecting their inner world from that constant pressure to edit and perform, which, if the first reason is about the future and the second is about the present, then let's talk about self-preservation, because fear of judgment is in here too, but it's often misunderstood.
It's so much more than just simple insecurity. Social media is an environment that it magnifies comparison.
For sure.
I mean, think about it. You, as the listener, are constantly measuring your own unedited, messy, real life against the perfectly curated highlight reels of everyone else.
And it leaves you feeling like everyone else is happier, more successful, better looking.
All of it. So when that's the baseline environment, posting a photo starts to feel really risky. The stakes feel huge. What if it doesn't get enough likes? What if someone criticizes it?
Or worse, what if it just confirms your own deepest insecurities?
Yes. So avoiding that exposure becomes a pretty sophisticated form of self-preservation. It's not a failure to be resilient. It's a smart strategy to protect your own emotional safety.
And the research actually breaks this down into two pretty distinct personality types who use this strategy. The first one they mention are the digital minimalists. These are the people actively pushing back on the whole system of digital noise. For them, constant posting isn't just vanity, it's mental clutter. It's a distraction.
They value presence over performance.
Peace over popularity. They just want to live their lives without feeling this obligation to report back on it.
And then there's the second type, which I find really compelling, the observer personality.
Right, they're not checked out at all.
Not at all. They're highly engaged. They just fundamentally enjoy watching and learning more than being watched. These are often the thinkers, the analysts.
So for them, social media is a window, not a stage.
A perfect metaphor. They're a window, not a stage. They're collecting insights, observing trends, analyzing behavior. They're accumulating awareness, not attention.
Their silence doesn't mean they're absent.
It means they're paying very close attention from a protected analytical spot. They're listening way more than they're speaking.
That makes so much sense. But we also can't ignore the psychological impact of past experiences. That feels like a powerful and maybe overlooked driver here.
Oh, it's huge. The sources show that just one really bad experience like intense online humiliation, body shaming, bullying, that can create a very strong link in your brain between posting and emotional pain.
It's a good feedback loop.
An immediate avoidance feedback loop.
Yeah.
So for these people, their emotional history is a powerful deterrent. Posting just gets associated with trauma or conflict, so avoidance becomes a totally natural, even healthy response.
It's a survival mechanism.
It is. Sometimes staying quiet is the most proactive thing you can do for your own mental health.
Which brings us, I think, to the deepest layer of all this.
Yeah.
The connection between not posting and your sense of identity and self-worth. It seems the common thread here is relying on something internal.
That is the ultimate conclusion, I think. When you consciously take away that external validation, the likes, the comments, you are forced to build your confidence from somewhere else, from an internal source.
So your self-worth is built on things like your purpose, your integrity, self-respect.
Yes, those become the pillars of your identity, not the number of followers you have. And the core realization for them is so powerful, and it really challenges the modern digital mindset.
Which is?
It's that not everything needs to be seen to be real. A meaningful life doesn't actually require an audience. Their experiences are legitimate without digital proof.
You know, there's this really interesting irony in all of this. In a world that's just saturated with oversharing, the people who post the least often end up seeming the most intriguing. Their absence creates this kind of mystery. The privacy itself becomes charismatic.
That's so true. When someone isn't constantly narrating their life, their actual presence, online or off, feels so much more intentional.
They're controlling the narrative by refusing to give it up to the algorithm. The quiet choice is the statement.
Yes.
So what does this all mean? We've gone from digital asset management to this profound loyalty to oneself. This quiet choice seems to be a huge statement that says, I don't need to be seen to exist.
That's the perfect way to sum it up. I mean, whether the reason is control or authenticity or self-preservation or just a deep philosophical belief, Choosing not to post photos is one of the most powerful, intentional acts we have available today.
It really challenges that core assumption that a life has to be documented to be meaningful.
It really does.
And so we'll leave you with this final thought. In a world that is constantly demanding your visual attention, your documentation, your performance for external validation, the choice to remain visually quiet might just be one of the strongest forms of confidence and self-respect you can find. If you're always performing for others, how much time do you have left to simply live for yourself?